Welcome to the Dad Code Podcast. This is DDS, where real fans come for real sports talk and no BS. We're your hosts, Blake Melton, Bradley Newberry, and Matthew Parker. Parker, what's going on, dude?
Hey, good to be back, fellas.
Absolutely.
Gosh, welcome to the College Prediction Show. Last week, if you did not pay attention, let me give you a quick review. We were 11-4 on this panel, including 3-0 in our Underdog Picks. If you want to make some money, listen up, boys and girls. We're going to start with the Vols at Missouri. The Vols are back on the road again. After a visit to Gainesville and losing to the Florida Gators, the Tigers are coming off an overtime loss to BC. Something's going to have to give in this SEC East matchup.
Yeah, unfortunately, as a Tennessee fan, I think this is probably a pick'em game here. I think this is two teams that are probably at a very similar level as far as talent, and that makes me sick just saying that out loud. But for me, it's going to all depend on who's healthy, because we're kind of going into this as a Tennessee football team banged up a little bit in some key spots. You know, with Hendon Hooker being kind of questionable still, there's some stuff that we'll talk about. I mean, it sounds like he practiced this week, but Josh Heupel's still not committing to him being healthy enough to start yet. So some key injuries, Cooper Mays, Missouri, they're kind of a meh team for me, but unfortunately, I think Tennessee's kind of in the same league at the moment.
Yeah, they really are kind of the same team, and you're right, injuries are the key. If Hooker plays, Tennessee wins. If Milton plays, Missouri wins. It's really difficult. Either way, it's going to be a fast-tempo game. Missouri averages about 75 offensive snaps a game. Tennessee averages 82. I mean, we're going to see 150 snaps in this game.
Yeah. This is going to be I think it's going to be an exciting game to watch, quite honestly. It's going to be frustrating probably for the people who are defensive folks, like the fella down there at the end of the table.
I'm not looking forward to this game.
No, but I mean, like you said, they're pretty powerful. They got a reasonable offense too, 159.5 yards averaging rushing per game. Their running back Beatty, he's gonna lead the way for them, I'd say. Bazelak, I'm not real high on him. He's not as mobile as some of the quarterbacks that we've had to play against. This game kind of has the same feel as the Pittsburgh game to me.
It's funny you mentioned Bazelak, because looking at the numbers, we kind of like Tennessee's defensive line. And if they can get pressure, that's the key. When he is passing with a clean pocket, he has a 122 passer rating. When he is passing with under pressure, 43.
Yeah. I mean, another sack. Their O-line has given up 13 sacks in 4 games.
So knowing these stats, could the defensive scheme of the Vols, could they bring that extra blitzer here to generate more pressure? Can they get it done with 4 down linemen, 3 down linemen, whatever they're playing there?
I think they have to be able to give them some help. I mean, just because of the lack of personnel, the types of personnel we have at the linebacker position is just not going to help them out much, in my opinion, with a pass rush. But, I mean, while we're talking about defense, I mean, the Missouri defense is going to, their big bugaboo is the running game, and they're allowing 270-plus rushing yards a game.
No, they're not good on defense.
No.
Over 454 yards per game, good for 116th in college football.
There you go.
They can be taken advantage of.
There you go. I mean, it's a crucial game for Tennessee. If they want to get to that 6-7 win season area, this is a game they got to have, quite frankly, particularly after losing to Pitt.
Yeah, I thought they would beat Pitt, and I honestly thought when we were doing the preview one that they would easily beat Missouri as well, but it is a coin flip game. Either way, it's going to come down to, it's going to be between a 3 and 7 point game.
I totally agree. Like I said, Hendon Hooker did practice on Tuesday and Wednesday. We're recording this on Thursday, so it's yet to be seen whether he'll practice today. But my thing is if he's practicing, I would probably say that's a pretty good indication he's going to play.
My reasoning for thinking that he is going to play is Vegas. The line is creeping down for Tennessee. I think it was at 3.5, -3 or +3.5, and now it's at +2.5. If it's going that way, Vegas knows something because nobody is betting on Milton.
No. I mean, like you said, Milton's in there. We're in trouble as Tennessee fans.
If Milton is in there, it will give me a reason to watch because I just find it funny.
There will be Milton missiles thrown all over the place.
Yeah, he's the best passer of the football into the crowd in NCAA.
Dude,
I mean,
that fat guy in the 7th row that I talk about every week.
I mean, dude, if this was a contest to see how far you could throw the football, I mean, we'd win every game.
undefeated.
I mean, yeah. I mean, I've never seen somebody with as much velocity on the ball as he has.
It's almost comical how bad his touch is.
Yeah, it's like he's trying. Is it possible that he is actually trying to overthrow that much? 'Cause it's bad. But once again, I'm hoping we get Cooper Mays back. He's a big key to our offensive line. He's our center. But he was really banged up in the last game. I think he was pretty much on one leg and one arm there at the end of the Florida game. So I would be shocked to see Cooper Mays back in there, which is a big blow to us. But the big thing is we got to have Hendon Hooker in there to give ourselves the best chance to win.
Run the ball. That's what I like to see. Just UT run the ball, man. This Missouri defense can be had. They're giving up over 454 yards per game. You're going to have to, vice versa, you're going to have to play some defense of your own here. I mean, Missouri's offense averaging 483 yards a game. Bays, like we've talked about it multiple times on this show, I mean, he can get it done, but I don't like his ratios. I don't like how he doesn't protect the ball. A gunslinger, if you will, not afraid to turn it over. So UT can take advantage of a few picks, I believe, in this game.
Oh, yeah. I agree.
Any other analysis before the pick?
I don't have any. Do you guys have anything else? I mean, like I said, this is kind of a pick 'em right now, and it really kind of hinges on who Tennessee's going to put under center.
Yeah, and I know Tennessee hasn't beat anybody, but neither is Missouri. I mean, they've lost to BC and UK, and who'd they beat? SEMO and Central Michigan.
Yeah, I mean, and what does that mean? They haven't played. I mean, you don't have any control over your schedule really during the season. So it's like, I mean, Alabama plays cupcakes too. Does that mean they haven't played anybody? Mm-hmm. I mean, geez.
Yeah, that Miami game's looking real difficult right about now.
Yeah.
Well,
Daddy told you about that.
I'll start if you want. I just looked at the trend that in this matchup, the favorite is 5-1 in the last 6 games. So I'm going Missouri 33-23. They're the home team.
I don't really think they have a home field advantage, and I think Hooker makes this team significantly better, and I think he's going to play. I'm going to go with Tennessee 34-31.
I'm going Vols 35-31.
All right. Well, that'll take us on to my game. Florida Gators going to old Kroger Field in Kentucky.
I'm sorry, that makes me laugh every time. Kroger Field.
Gators are going shopping at Kroger, folks. For this game, I'm looking at Kentucky. It's a prove-it time for Kentucky. Now's the time. You've started off 4-0, talking about playing nobody, and honestly not even looking great in any of them. We're talking Chattanooga, amongst others, where they're just him-hawing around. 4-0 is exactly what we all thought that they would start, but now they're reaching a stretch of Florida Gators, LSU, and Georgia, and this is just the first start. I love your running back. I love Chris Rodriguez, 513 yards, over 6 yards per carry. But different caliber team in this matchup with the Wildcats.
Yeah, I agree, and you're right. They haven't played anyone, and they looked awful for 2 straight games. They barely pulled off these wins. Like, are they either one of 2 things? They're either not very good because they've won by like 6 points against Chattanooga and whoever it was they played last week. So they're either not very good, or 2, they're trying to show nothing and to sneak out those 2 games before this Florida game. Because this, I know we've said it about other games, but this is Kentucky Super Bowl.
Totally agree. I mean, I think that, looking at their stats, I mean, their defensive stats They look nice on paper, right? But I mean, again, I know I just made the argument. What does that even mean when you say they haven't played anybody? I think that's really what you see whenever you look at the defensive stats, though, because when you play a bad team and you're a good defense, you're not going to give up yards. And, I mean, they don't seem to give up too much. I mean, they have given up less than 300 yards of total offense average per game. So I think that it'll be a little bit more of a challenge than Florida wants it to be, just because for whatever reason every year it seems like Florida just seems to have a hiccup or two against the Kentucky Wildcats. But I don't know. Kentucky's got to get over the Kentucky-ness in my mind. I haven't seen them be able to do it just yet. I'm not convinced just yet.
From Kentucky's point of view, stick with the run. Again, I'm going to say this because I love the run and I love defense, but stick with Chris Rodriguez. I believe he gives you the best shot in this game. It's going to feel painful at times because the Florida defensive line and linebackers are good, so you're not going to –
Yep.
You'll find holes, though. If you stick with it, you'll find holes there. I'm just questioning the efficiency of this quarterback, man. He started off red hot in game one. To date, he has 7 touchdowns and 5 picks. Overall, Kentucky is at a -9 turnover margin. That could come back to bite them.
Yeah, and you're right. They got to stick with the run. They will. They run it like 60% of the time, but the problem with them running is they're not efficient. They're not in the top 60 in the entire country. They run into a brick wall half the time, and they're not playing Florida. You know, the key to this game is going to be the play action pass off of those runs. Kentucky is one of the best teams in the country off the play action pass, but if they can stop the run and it's completely on Will Levis, he hasn't shown anything to me. I thought of that first game that they actually were not Kentucky. And we talked about him having a big arm. And I'd say if he can't do it against Chattanooga, how's he going to do it against Florida?
Yeah, I don't think that they face the caliber of athlete that they're going to face this weekend. And, I mean, ultimately, I mean, like you said, if you can't perform against a team like Chattanooga, I mean, come on. What are you going to think when you got Gators running at you?
Yeah, on the other side of the ball, I think Emory Jones is coming off of his best game probably in his whole collegiate career.
I would agree. He's kind of riding high at the moment.
But we all knew he could run. But I saw some passing efficiency against the balls.
Third down efficiency? You kidding me?
Yeah, he leads, of course, the Gators in rushing at 375 yards. Malik Davis has 257 yards and 3 touchdowns of his own. Damian Pierce, 172 and 5 touchdowns. Kentucky's got to know that Florida wants to establish the run. That's who they are. They have figured out who they are as a team. And if you can make Emory Jones one-dimensional and have to stay kind of in a pocket, kind of in a muddy pocket, even if you have a spy there, gives Kentucky the best chance to stay close and potentially win.
I mean, you say that about keeping him in the pocket, but I mean, I don't know if you can really keep him. He's really elusive in open space. I mean, and I know what you're saying about keeping him in the pocket, but I feel like their ground attack is just going to maul Kentucky. I really do. I think Emory Jones, like you said, is coming off his best game probably in his whole career. They didn't ask him to do too much. He dinked and dunked. He didn't try to go for the big home run. Stuck with what works for them. And I don't think Kentucky's ready for what's coming their way.
I've got a great one for you, Bradley. I think you're going to like this. You're right. I think they need to keep them in the pocket. And keep them in the pocket, like rush forward, drop everybody back into coverage, and make him beat him with their arm. And don't go after him. If you go after Emory Jones under pressure, he has a passer rating of 98. Like, he is good under pressure. It somehow it drops off when he's got a clean pocket. Mm-hmm. It's the exact opposite for UK. You put pressure on them, and they just absolutely fall to pieces. So if you can spy them, if you can keep him from running it all over you, but I mean, good luck with that, and you make him pass and beat you, not under pressure where it's not one-on-one coverage, you've got a bunch of people out there, that's the key to beating them. I mean, you got to – they're going to run on you. Like, that's going to happen, right? It just – I think the key to beating them is to make Florida pass. And last few games, though, he looks like he's possible that he can actually do that.
Yeah, I mean, what I've seen over time with him is I believe it's a one read and then get the hell out of there type of thing. Like one read, if it's covered up, he's running. Now, he may have shown a little bit with the balls that he went to his second read, which is unbelievable. I've never seen that. And I think these trends and these numbers prove that it was a one read and run. But if he's incorporating like reading one and then going to 2 and 3, it's different. These trends are not gonna stick the same. But I've got to go Florida here. I don't know. I don't have any reason not to think Florida. I predicted them in the SEC East prediction show to win this game. So going with the road team, 31-20.
Yeah, I if this wasn't a game we were talking about, this might have been my best bet of the week. I know I talked about how Kentucky could hang in there, but they're not going to. Florida's going to roll 36-20.
Yeah, I was just doing a little quick math over here. I mean, it seems like, I'm terrible at math, so you guys feel free to make fun of me. But it looks like Florida runs the ball almost 70% of the time, according to their stats. Being in the pocket, not in the pocket, dropping however many, it doesn't matter. They're going to run the ball down their throat. It's going to be a 35-14 victory for Florida.
All right. I mean, but it could be close at halftime. I mean, we've seen Florida; they're down at half all the time. So,
yeah, the play may be Kentucky first half. Honestly, Florida game.
Dan Mullen's really good about making adjustments at halftime. He really is.
It's something about the D. Maybe it's like the defense doesn't settle in until drive 3 or 4. So you can kind of catch them off guard there if you want to, Kentucky. But I don't know. It's over the span of a full collegiate game, Gators too much again for Kentucky. Our game of the week, this one is an interesting one. We're going outside of the SEC. We're looking at number 7 Cincinnati at number 9 Notre Dame. This is their first meeting since 1900 when Notre Dame won 58-0. Any initial thoughts?
It is unbelievable to me that a group of 5 team is going to a power – it just shows you how crazy this year is. A group of 5 team is going to a power team, and they're favored. And they're both undefeated. It's just wild. That doesn't really say anything to me about who's going to win this game, but I just think that's kind of a fun point. But Notre Dame has won 25 straight games at home. I'm not a Notre Dame guy. In fact, I usually cheer against them, but they are excellent at home. And the number one thing that jumps out to me in this, actually, number one thing, we don't even know who's playing it. Quarterback for Notre Dame. It could be one of 3 different people. I don't know that it matters that much, but my biggest takeaway from this game is the Notre Dame defensive coordinator, which we talked about weeks ago because they had to replace Clark Lee. The guy's name is Marcus Freeman. Last year, Marcus Freeman was Cincinnati's defensive coordinator. To me, that tells me that he should know where Cincinnati is weak on offense and where to be able to attack them and know their quarterback, Desmond Ritter's weakness, and it kind of help them more offensively than on the defensive side of the ball.
Right. Notre Dame coach Brian Kelly says, look, Cincinnati, they are deserving of their rank, and they will be the best team that they've played so far. Blake, Cincinnati's coming off of a bye week. Do they really have enough to go into someone else's house, Notre Dame, and deserve to be the favorite in this matchup?
Well, I think this is an instance where we've got a team that's playing with a big chip on their shoulder. You know, they're the little guy, so to speak, going against the big guy, Notre Dame, going into their house. I think that they're going to take it personal. I think that, as you have alluded to earlier in previous shows, they're going to have to make some noise to be able to get attention. And this is one of those games they've got to if you want attention, it doesn't get any bigger than beating Notre Dame at home.
Honestly, if they get this one, all they have left is their conference schedule, which is cupcake.
I mean, this
is the one.
Yes,
for Cincinnati.
This is the. It's going to set the tone for the rest of the season for them. And I guess we're not quite ready to tell who we're going to pick just yet, but I think I think things are looking good for the Bearcats in this situation.
Yeah, and you also mentioned it. They had a bye week.
Correct.
I mean, they're going to come out with some wrinkles, something that Notre Dame's not seen on defense. They're going to do something funky in this game. I mean, they may not run a flea flicker from the 10.
But they're going to hold nothing back. They're holding nothing back.
Yeah, we'll talk about
that.
that.
They're going to save that for the NFL. You weren't here for that one.
But they're going to do something. Something sneaky about it. So Notre Dame kind of has to hold on there at the beginning of this. I think my biggest takeaway when I was looking through the number on this is turnovers. Notre Dame forces about 2.5 turnovers per game, and Cincy gives up about 2.5 turnovers per game. And I think that is going to be a major difference in this game, or turnovers.
Turnovers, and I can't get the image out of my head of watching Notre Dame score 31 straight fourth quarter points last week against Wisconsin in a game in which they were the underdog. Blake, I've been on Cincinnati all year. I got to go with a home team, man. I'm going Notre Dame, 27-24.
Yeah, I know what you're saying. You know, it's tough taking Notre Dame at home, but I think there's something different about this Cincinnati team. They've got a big chip on their shoulder. They want attention. There's no better way to get that attention than to win this game. They've got to have this to have a successful year in their eyes, basically. And I've got Cincinnati winning 30-27.
I mean, this is the game for the college football playoffs.
It is.
Maybe for both of them.
Yeah.
Because of the defensive coordinator relations with Cincinnati and Notre Dame, I'm going to go with Notre Dame 27-21, but I would not be shocked either way.
Got him. Now is the portion of the show where everyone needs to listen, because we're going to try to help you make some money. We are going to identify.
By the way, somebody made a lot of money off of us last week. Was it you?
I know this one's account's a little higher.
Yeah, it was a good week.
I don't know.
We are about to identify 3 teams that are not supposed to win per point spread. We call them our underdog picks. And Blake has a good one this week. He's going to keep rolling with a trend that he's enjoyed. Go ahead. What kind of feeling does Daddy have this week?
Daddy had a lot of feelings coming into today.
You got the
I've got a list of games that I was looking at, and it got so long that I was like, man, I'm going to have to really dig into this a little bit more. But ultimately, one came to the surface that I had some more feelings about. And once again, Daddy's got a feeling. It could be indigestion. I admit it. But I'm going to tell you right now, a team that I was very high on at the beginning of the year. Very high on, that I thought that they would. I think I actually said that they were going to have no mercy, give no quarter. Shit. Texas A&M.
Uh-oh.
You remain on the fraudulent list, and you will be proven once again by the Mississippi State Bulldogs to be fraudulent.
Oh no.
Texas A&M, you've given up 12 sacks in 4 games. I'm not impressed by your offense. I think it's air raid time in College Station.
It's nice to be able to adjust, you know. I've had to do it with Iowa State. Like, you can't stick on the same boat the entire time. You go down with the ship, right? I mean, they haven't looked good. I don't hate that at all.
They've looked terrible.
Yeah.
Let's be clear. They've looked effing terrible.
They have.
I mean,
total letdown from what we all thought that they were going to be.
Look, Texas A&M cost me money last week because what I did was
didn't cost Daddy money.
I parlayed SMU, which was my underdog pick last week, with a Texas A&M straight up win.
Oh, money line too.
Whoops, that didn't happen.
Somebody made some money off Daddy's pick.
I'll tell you, I really toyed with Troy beating South Carolina because y'all know South Carolina is absolute garbage. And I think Troy actually is going to win, but I'm going to stay out of it for once. I usually pick some crap game that nobody's going to watch. So I'm going to actually pick a big-time game, and I'm going to go over to Michigan, Wisconsin.
Okay.
The last 2 years, Wisconsin has smashed Michigan. I mean, the game hasn't even been close. This year, though, Wisconsin has lost 2 games. They don't look all that great. And my big reason on this game that I am going to pick Michigan to actually win this game is because of Wisconsin's quarterback, Graham Mertz.
Good.
He was supposed to be good, and he has been downright dreadful. He has thrown 1 touchdown and 6 interceptions. It is not hard to be a quarterback at freaking Wisconsin. All you have to do is hand it off, hit easy crossers over the middle, and hit play action passes. That's all. That's really all you have to do because they run the ball constantly. When Graham Mertz is under pressure, his quarterback rating is a 0. And when he drops back to pass, he has a turnover-worthy pass almost 9% of the time he tries to pass. He's absolutely awful. I mean, it's not saying Michigan's great. Can they pass? Well, I have no idea. They haven't had to pass yet. They run the ball 72% of the time. Wisconsin's great at stopping the big runs, but Graham Mertz is awful. This is more of a fade Mertz than it is back Wisconsin. I think I think Michigan goes to Wisconsin and gets the win.
It's a good one. I'm going to go to the Pac-12. I'm going way out west, and if I want to see if this actually happens, it'll be like, 1 o'clock here, local time. But I'm looking at the Arizona State UCLA game. Arizona State is a 3-point underdog. Look, I know all the hooplas around UCLA right here, but Arizona State, if I'm not mistaken, was coming into the season as one of the Pac-12 favorites, right? Mm-hmm. Arizona State, they are getting over 200 yards rushing per game, averaging almost 4 rushing touchdowns per game. This could be a shootout. I'm just going on a hunch. I don't have all the stats to back this up. But I'll go with Arizona State to straight up beat UCLA as my underdog pick of the week.
All right.
I almost picked the same one in the Pac-12 offense. People think UCLA has the best offense. They actually have the 7th rated offense, and Arizona State's number 1. It's going to be a good game. I'll be asleep, but it'll be a good game.
Yeah, I'll be asleep. Best bet. So best bet time. This is where we will use the point spread. We can pick either the favorite or the underdog, but this is the one where if we were going to bet any money, this is what we would make money on. Parker, did you identify anything that just looks too juicy to pass up?
I do, and I have a really fun stat to back it up. So we're going to also go back out west there. Oregon versus Stanford. How about this stat? Blake's going to like this one. When Stanford played Vanderbilt, Stanford gave up 6 yards per carry and 191 yards after contact.
Whoa.
Does anyone remember how Oregon beat Ohio State?
I do. I picked it.
Running the ball, right? Much like my pick last week, Oregon is going to run it down Stanford's throat. Also, the number 1 projected pick, Oregon's defensive end, Kayvon Thibodeau, missed most of this year because of injury. He's good to go this week.
All right.
Oregon -7. I think they win double digits.
Jeez.
Do it.
All right.
Best bet? Are you staying in the SEC, Blake?
I am staying in the SEC. I'm going to talk a little bit about a team. It's a tale of 2 teams, really. Number 1, Georgia. So Georgia, their favorite, last I checked, it was 18.5. May have changed, but it's not going to be far off. Georgia's pretty good. They are pretty good. They got a decent defense. They've had trouble establishing the run game occasionally, and that just so happens to be something that Arkansas is good at defending. So I am looking at Arkansas to pretty easily cover that 18.5. I think this is going to be a way better game than what Vegas is saying. I'm not saying that they're going to win, but I think this is going to be a lot closer than the pundits are saying, for sure.
I hope this is not an overreaction to Georgia putting the smackdown on Vandy, because that was going to happen anyway.
I think it is, though. I think it's a underreaction to the fact that the Razorbacks are for real. I really think they are. I think they're just a smash mouth team.
I mean, they were 7-point dogs against Texas and won by 20.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, they are going into this with a no respect mentality, that they're getting no respect, so they're going to give no respect.
Yeah, that was a hell of a game, hell of a win, beating Texas A&M. I did not predict that. Actually had that as a start of a 3-game losing streak for Arkansas with Texas A&M, Georgia, and Ole Miss.
God,
Heck, prove me wrong, Arkansas. Keep proving me wrong.
If Arkansas knocks off Georgia and Ole Miss knocks out Alabama, just imagine that game next week.
Does that mean the cream of the crop? No, it can't mean that, because Florida's already lost to Alabama. Never mind.
Fun to think about.
So, question though, is Sam Pittman the leader in the SEC for Coach of the Year?
Oh, he's got to be considered, man.
If the trend continues,
absolutely. I don't even know who would be second.
I mean, there's no. It's not going to be the South Carolina coach.
I mean, maybe Lane Kiffin. It would.
I mean, what have they done? Who are they?
I mean, they got an offensive. We'll see this week.
They got what? They've done what? Who against who?
Yeah, we'll see this week.
I mean, yeah, it's really kind of about what happens this week, I think, is where you find out where they really are.
And to give you my best bet, I'll quickly go to James Franklin. We're going to Penn State. The 4-0 Penn State Nittany Lions are playing host to Indiana. Sorry, Indiana. This isn't a basketball game from back in the day. Bobby Knight's not coming out. Penn State easily covers the 12.5-point spread, and I don't even have to worry about it. Easy money.
There you go.
Penn State looks good.
Do we want to talk about Vandy before we close the show? Vandy's a 14.5-point favorite. I just said that. I didn't stutter.
I know. I almost took this as my dog pick, because I got to looking and I was like, why is UConn the underdog by so much? But then I got to looking at UConn's stats. It's like, oh my God.
It's so bad.
It's
Go
really
West End. Get you a win.
I mean, so I will say this though, if you lose this game, you might as well just
They've already lost the game they
tuck
should
it. I mean, I know, but I mean, this would be bad.
This would be awful. I picked them to have 2 wins beginning of the year, and this was one of the 2 games we highlighted.
I mean,
and then the other one they've already lost.
And the other one they already lost. You're
Jesus. Right. Win. Beat the Huskies, man.
If they lose this game, I mean, seriously, they might as well just not play a game for the rest of the year.
Well,
I mean, I know Vandy's bad, but y'all, it's still like this should just out talent. Even at Vandy should out talent this team. I mean, it is so bad. They should beat them down. I mean, I would not touch it, but they should.
It's a scary game to even look at. It's like, there's no way, right?
As much as I love the run and defense, I want to see Seals bounce back this week.
Can Vanderbilt score more than 14 points?
They might not need to in this one.
Public split, 50% bet on UConn, 50% on Vandy.
I wouldn't spend $1 GD on that game.
No. Pool noodle. That's all we'll say. Pool noodle.
Well, that was it. College predictions are in. Check them out. We'll have them posted on Twitter all over the place.
Yeah, a lot of interesting games coming up this weekend in college for sure.
Of course, I was the only one that didn't pick the Vols, but I'm just going with trend and home team.
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, it's going to depend on who they put under center for the Vols. I think that's going to make the difference there, and it'll make the difference in Tennessee's season, quite frankly.
You also picked Pitt over the Vols.
I did.
That's right.
There you go.
That's right. The Swami down there.
I did.
All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining us today on our prediction show. Be sure to check us out on Twitter at DDS Sports Talk. Leave us a comment there. Get the conversation started. Leave us a like. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Any closing comments?
Great week of college football. Excited.
Mm-hmm.
Totally. I have to say, ladies and gentlemen, pay attention. Make some money with us. Let's go.
Absolutely. There's going to be a lot of money made this weekend. Are you going to make some of it? You guys be well.